Iranian affairs analyst Seyed Mostafa Khoshcheshm. He joins us now from Tehran. I want to ask you first about this latest news that Iran says it will resume uranium enrichment at its Fordow nuclear facility, which is in violation of the 2015 deal. How significant of a move is this by Iran?
Hello, and thanks for having me. Well, it's very much significant because it was a major concession as well as a major achievement for Iran and for the Iranian team of negotiators to shut down the nuclear operation, but at the same time keep Fordow nuclear facility open for non-nuclear enrichment operations, because it's a very resistant facility. It's resistant very much to even bunker busters, and I remember quite well that Iran's lead negotiator, Mr. Zarif, told his European counterparts during the negotiations that you intend to close down Fordow because you know that you cannot destroy it with your bunker busters. And if this happens, then you would render a military attack on other facilities that are, not resistant to, military option. So we will not let it be shut down. So Iran insisted on keeping it open. It's a very modern facility, and it shows that Iran is very much serious about its scaling down its nuclear undertakings, since the Europeans are not showing any concern about, their end of the bargain and their undertakings. It seems that they are pushing Tehran to scale down and to exit the nuclear deal. Otherwise, why should they be willing to see Iran is shortening or will shorten its breakout time, as they claimed that Iran's breakout time was longer after the nuclear deal, and they celebrated it. But apparently they now know that Iran is not moving towards a military nuclear capability, and they don't care. Otherwise, they should have held up their end of the bargain in order to, satisfy Tehran to stop its modification of its undertakings.
I want to ask you about the sanctions, which it's been a year now, a year ago today, that the U.S. president reimposed all sanctions on Iran that had been lifted under the 2015 deal. For the average Iranian, do they feel the effects of these sanctions?
Well, no, of course, there have been, some impacts, and people have been beaten by the sanctions, normal citizens. We have too many reports, not just based on Iranian media, but also according to Western think tanks as well as media outlets, that Iranians have been under pressure, especially because of the drug and food sanctions on humanitarian cargoes to Iran that comes actually indirectly, and they have the ban is because of the sanctions on the banking sector. So no one could buy medical supplies and food supplies from abroad, almost no one. Except for the ways that the government has had for bypassing the sanctions. Now, what matters here is that Iran is self-sufficient with regard to the supply of 96% of its medical needs. But there is still a 4%, and that's the medication needed for very special diseases. So people are losing their lives. Yet, these sanctions are not going to kill the Iranian society, all the Iranian society, and they may not change the Iranian nation as well as government's behavior, as it has already been proved, because the peak of the sanctions was in September. 1 or 1.5 years after they were reimposed, or the Trump's issued the order for their reimposition. Okay. That was the peak, and ever since then, the Iranian government has been able to harness the negative aspects and impacts of the sanctions, okay, including recession and the foreign exchange market rates, as well as the price rates. Okay. So it seems that now we are moving on a track with the impacts of the U.S. sanctions moving down, and Iran's reciprocal moves have just started, and they are going up, and their impacts would be seen in about a few months from now.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Seyed Mostafa Khoshcheshm joining us from Tehran. Thank you.